So you're looking for some Florida-friendly landscaping. Well, you're in the right place because see, we just did phase 1 of this project right behind me. It was full of Florida native plants, and go check it out if you want to see the whole thing. But it's time, we're gonna double it because this space is only 4 by 10 and we want to go and add a lot more. So in this series, what we're gonna focus on today is talking about the strategy, the goals, what are we doing? And then in each episode, we're gonna do a highlight video on one of the plants that's either going, staying, or being added in. And then we're gonna follow up about 2 months later so that we can see how does it look? Does it look good? Does it look bad? Should we do something different or what worked really well? So let's get into it. Let's talk about some Florida-friendly landscaping. Yay! Welcome to phase 2. Why are we doing this? Good question. So here's the fun thing about Florida-friendly landscaping. It means that it has native plants and some exotics, but that are not invasive and are specifically listed on like University of Florida's Florida-friendly landscaping site, right? Yay! And we just did this phase 1 project, which was all Florida native plants, right? We wanted to shade the house, we wanted to add some Florida native plants, we wanted to go add a little bit of edibility for humans, we created some nice habitat for our wildlife, and of course we were going to remove that invasive plant. And then like after I did all that work, I was reading an article, and it was a great article. I'd read it once before, but like I like to come back to some of these articles because you know, you learn something and then you forget parts of it. So I was like, yeah, let me check that out again. And it was comparing 10 invasive plants and then 10 plants to replace it with. And I was like, cool, I remember reading this when I didn't know as much about native plants. So let me go see if there's some plants that I might want to go and add, because I know I still got a couple invasives throughout the yard that I might want to get out of there. And I'm reading it and oof, I hadn't removed all the invasives from this area. So what am I gonna do? The project's not half done. We had 4 goals. Number 4 was remove invasives, and I clearly did not remove one. And so I gotta go remove it. So here we are, phase 2. But what's gonna be cool about phase 2 is that we're gonna keep with our original goals of shading the house, adding Florida native plants. We're gonna create some edibility and some habitat for our wildlife. And of course, we're gonna remove our invasive, but we're gonna expand this idea because this one, we're mostly gonna be focused on vines. I know a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about just flowering bushes and shrubs and little small things, but like, who's spending a lot of time talking about vines? And we're gonna talk a lot about vines in this series, and I think that's gonna be pretty cool because I don't know a lot about vines, but I'm gonna learn about it and we're gonna go and try some things out. And you know, you guys can always tell me your thoughts because I had thought about adding one of these, but you know what? On the last series, someone said like, hey, had you thought about doing this? And I said, yeah, it's on my bucket list of things I want to add to the yard. But honestly, once I realized this has gotta go, I was just like, you know what? I'm in, I'm all in. I'm buying that. And my husband was supportive, and I bought more plants. It happens. So let's talk about the goals for this project. Okay, so are we gonna add shade to the garage like we had talked about last time? Not a ton, but when we talk about this arch trellis here and removing this over here, yes, they will either swap out a shading plant or we're gonna add some additional shade on that end. So yes, we're gonna be adding some more shade. The second thing, are we adding Florida native plants? Yes. Well, why is this called Florida-friendly landscaping? Well, there are a couple exotics that are Florida-friendly already in the space, and I am going to leave them. So I will still cover them and talk about them because they are common, not common. People may not recognize them, or they do. So I thought it would be good to cover them because these will be plants that if you have them in your yard, you know what? You don't need to go and rip them out. So that's a good thing. And then let's see, what else do we want to do? Oh, we want to add another host plant. Yay! Add some edible food for us humans. Yay! And then what else do we want to do? Oh, okay. So I think in phase 1, we talked about it. We added flowering plants, but a lot of the plants, they have flowers. They're just, I kind of commented on a few of them. They're not the showiest of flowers. Well, not this phase. Phase 2 is gonna be showy. It's gonna have the look. So I'm really excited about that piece of it. Yeah, we're gonna have some big old flowers all around here. So I think that's just gonna really bring the pollinators in, and we're gonna create more food sources for birds in here. I mean, it's just gonna be great. And so we're going from this 4 by 10 and we're really almost doubling the size. Oh, and the fun part of this series is gonna be trellises, right? I'm gonna even show you 3 different types of trellises. So not only are we gonna go through some different vines, but you're gonna see some different ways that you can go and trellis them. So I thought that'd be fun too. So let's talk a little bit about goal 1, right? With the whole shading. So shading, usually people think about shading the structure first, usually with giant trees, but we talked about last time, like I don't have the space to put a tree in. But the second thing is that we talked about putting shrubs right up against the building. But there's also some other ways that you can reduce your energy bills, your heating, by actually reducing areas around. It's interesting, right? So I'm sitting on a sidewalk that actually goes around the house. And one of the things is that this is cement. It actually heats up and it will add to the heat load of the area. Heat load is just a fancy way of just saying like it gets hot. And because this is hot, it's gonna make that hot. And so by shading the sidewalk and areas around the house, I'm actually gonna help cool the area too. So that's why in this project we have added an arch trellis. You won't get to see me build it. I have built it beforehand like a couple months ago, but you're gonna see me adding some vines to it. So we're gonna actually create some additional shading for the actual hard structures, our sidewalk. Then what we're also gonna do is we're gonna focus on we got a TP trellis over here, fun, right? So it's got that kind of like plants coming up and then cascading down. And then I even have a third type, which is called a wall trellis. What is it called again? It is a flat trellis. It's flat, it's up against the wall, but there's a problem with it. And we may not be able to get to this in the entire project, is that I actually got to try to get the vine that's on it to come over to the arch so that I can eventually cut the vine back, because the flat trellis was there before I even moved in this house, and it has got a strong lean, and there's some small bush holding it up at this point. So we need to really cut that vine back, pull the trellis back and attach it to the actual structure of the house so that we can give some better support instead of having this weird leaning thing go on. Yes, so we're gonna cover that in this video too. Not today's, but in the whole series. Yeah, so I gave you a bit of our strategy and you will see more in the upcoming videos, but now we gotta dive into each plant. So let's first start with our invasive, the Japanese honeysuckle. And that's what's gonna be next. So to make sure you don't miss it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. New videos each week on Friday and sometimes a new video on Sunday. Hey, and I'll see you soon. Bye.